Just about to call the meeting to order. If everybody could just check their cell phones, make sure they are on silent. Thank you all very much. All right. Welcome, everybody. We're going to go ahead and call to order the Tangi Parish School Town Hall meeting for August 19th, 2026 at 6 o'clock p.m. Miss Amanda, can we get excuse me, let me change that around. We're going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance first, if you don't mind. Ms. Stilley, would you like to lead us?
Yes. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Miss Amanda, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Anthony?
Here.
Mr. Westmoreland?
Present.
Miss Abrams?
Here.
Miss Dominguez?
Present.
Mr. Duncan?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Piazza?
Here.
Miss Richards?
Present.
Mr. Toller?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, item 2 is the introduction of the finalists for the position of superintendent. And on behalf of the Tangi Parish School Board, we would like to thank the community, staff members, and families for being here this evening for this monumental occasion. To the candidates, thank you for your interest in serving as the next superintendent of the Tangi Parish School System. We appreciate the time, effort, and professionalism you invested in preparing for tonight's public event. So following a comprehensive review of the applicant pool and an evaluation of each candidate's qualifications, experience, and submitted credentials, the school board advanced the following 2 candidates to tonight's event, and they are Dr. Jamie Cole. I'm going to give her a round of applause. And also Mr. Ronald Jinko. And as with every school board meeting, we do intend to allow and encourage public comment. There are public input cards on the table as you enter the boardroom. If you would like to fill one out, please do so and hand it to our board secretary, Miss Amanda. If you would like to speak, we're going to allow speakers to have up to 3 minutes this evening, and we will make every effort to allow everyone to speak. And hosting tonight's event is General Counsel for the Tangi Parish School System, Mr. Al Giroux. Al Giroux and the Moody Law Firm have been the General Counsel for Tangi Parish School Board for nearly 30 years, so we are entrusting Mr. Giroux as our host this evening. Mr. Giroux, thank you for being here, and at this time I will turn the program over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anthony. The way that we're going to proceed tonight is, first, the finalists are going to make a position statement up to 3 to 5 minutes each. Then we're going to be doing questioning of both finalists. It'll be one finalist at a time, up to 20 minutes to answer the same set of questions, how many questions they can answer in the 20-minute period. Then we're going to do public comment, as Mr. Anthony said, for up to 3 minutes each. So please follow the procedure that Mr. Anthony indicated with regard to filling out the cards and getting them to Amanda here. Before we get into the original statements or the initial statements, to keep it fair, to decide which order we're going to do the answering the questions in, we're actually going to do a coin flip, standard quarter, heads or tails. Dr. Cole, would you like to call heads or tails? Heads is going to go first, tails is going to go second. Heads? Okay. Tails. If we can do them separately, the statements, yeah. Okay. Jacko, would you like to proceed? 35-minute statement, please. Position statement.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to the Tangi Parish School Board, Ms. Stilley, those in attendance, and those watching via technology. I'd like to welcome Dr. Cole to the best parish, Tangi Parish. Also like to thank the board for this opportunity to interview for this position. My name is Ron Jinko, lifelong resident of Tangipahoa Parish, starting my 37th year in public education, and proud to say all in Tangi. Education is central to our family. Tangipahoa Parish School System has been pivotal to our family. Met my wife Lisa at Independence High School. We have been married for over 35 years, 2 kids, Jace and Kylie, both proud graduates of TPSS. Jace from Independence, Kylie from Laranja High. Lisa and I began our careers as educators and both as teachers. Now I'm proud to say Lisa was recently named principal at Laranja Elementary. Kylie is starting her 4th year in education at Laranja Elementary also. We tried to get Jason into education. He did it for about 6 weeks as a long-term sub, but followed his dream in political communications to Washington, D.C. Happy to say that he is married. His wife, Kendall, is a doctor that is specializing in pulmonary critical care, and right now they live in Baltimore, Maryland. I began my career in 1990 with the school system. I've been a teacher, I've been a coach, been assistant principal, director of academics, hearing officer, director of human resources, interim superintendent, and currently now one of the assistant superintendents for the school system. As you can see, the school system has given so much to the Jinko family. I'm ready for the opportunity to give back. As we mentioned in the other interview, my kids and myself had the opportunity to open any door when we walked across that stage. Why not 20,000 students? Why not our kids from the north end to the south end? That's the goal. That's what we all are rowing the boat for, is that particular opportunity for our students. Thank you for your time and consideration. I would be honored to serve as the next Tangipahoa Parish School System Superintendent.
You can do a statement and then we'll, yeah. She comes in, just she'll walk you out. Yeah.
Dr. Cole is on her way back. Sorry for the pause here.
Did we bring her all the way to your office, or?
Secret room. She may have. I think she was just right in the meeting. I think they had locked the door by accident. She had to bring her somewhere else.
Are you ready, Dr. Cole?
Thank you. Good evening, members of the board, board president, community members. I want to say thank you for your invitation here. I do consider this an honor. I'm excited to be here just to kind of share a little bit about myself, my background. I was a special education teacher for 7 years, an elementary teacher for 5 years, and then an assistant principal, a principal, a superintendent, and then the last 9 years, I served as a superintendent, one of those as an assistant superintendent. 20 years were in one area in the same region. And then the last 5 years, I have moved around a bit. In those 5 years, there was reasons for medical, and with my family is one of the reasons I did move. But I do want to say that it was an asset because I learned systems from 1,000 students, 2,000, 3,000. One of the foundations that I really believe in a school system is really looking at relationship building. All the schools that I've been at, I'm still in communication with people, and just building those relationships are critical. The second is really balancing accountability with support and just having both of those, and really looking at the purpose of school and making sure that bridge between the community and school so that students get the best supplies and availability so that they're prepared as they go on to the community. So I really thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
We can go ahead and do that. But she gets to go second, correct? Right. So I'll call Ron back. Yeah, we'll trade places again. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, we're going to call Mr. Janko in, and Dr. Cole, if you want to go with the man. Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the delay, but we think it's more fair if the candidates are answering their questions separately without the other one sitting in here at the same time. Mr. Janko, you're going to go first, and again, the procedure that we're going to do is you have up to 20 minutes. We're going to go through the same set of questions, and however much you can cover within the 20-minute period.
Sounds like a plan, sir.
At that point, we'll switch up and let Dr. Cole take her turn. The first question that we have is, what do you consider to be the biggest challenge facing public school systems today?
Ready?
Yes.
All right. Biggest challenge is, for us, it is gaining the support of our communities and our stakeholders. I think there are some issues with the legislature, with the Gator scholarships and so forth, to where they're given some preferential treatment to to the private and parochial schools. But I think we have to be better cheerleaders for ourselves, showing everybody the great things that you can get by coming to the Tangipahoa Parish school system. From pre-K through 12, there's no reason that our kids, when they walk across the door, cannot compete with anybody that's out there. I want to tout our Advanced College and Career Center, is going to assist our kids in becoming college and or career ready. So if I want to be a welder, hey, take those beginning courses at your high school. We will get you to the Advanced College and Career Center. You can get across there. When you walk across that stage, you can open that door to become a certified welder and start out a little bit more than any other individual that doesn't have that training. We're doing a lot of great things in Tangipahoa Parish. We have to do a better job of being our cheerleaders to the public and say, come see. Get off of Facebook. Don't believe what's on there. Come to our schools, knock on the door and say, hey, walk me around. Let me see what you have going on.
What, if any, significant change do you hope to introduce and implement if you were chosen as the next superintendent of the Tangipahoa Parish School System?
I know people do not like the C word, okay? So we're not going to say change. We're going to say refinement. So that sounds a little bit better because people get scared when you say change.
By the way, these are questions from the public, not me.
I know, I understand. But that's who, when you say change to, people start getting nervous, okay? So, if I'm fortunate enough to be the next superintendent, obviously I would like to do things the way I would like to see them done, and that is going to be just some refinement. So don't get scared of change. We're not going to all of a sudden wake up and completely go in the opposite direction of what we're doing now. We are making tremendous strides academically. All of our scores are going up. Discipline numbers are coming down. Attendance is going up. So we're doing great things. But there will be some refinement. Just to be extremely honest with everybody, there will be some refinement from A to Z. It's just things that, I want to do it the Ron Jinko way.
This one's a This one's a little long, so bear with me. What is your vision for supporting teachers who are currently teaching on an uncertified pathway, particularly those who are actively working towards passing the praxis and becoming certified? Will there be resources, mentorship, or additional support available to help these teachers succeed? And will there be consideration for teachers who are making consistent progress towards certification when it comes to job security?
That is a long question, but I think I got it. Okay.
I didn't write them.
No, so I understand. And first of all, that's a great question because we have quite a few uncertified teachers. But get out of the mindset of certification. Are you effective? Are you growing our students? If you are growing our students, we are going to bend over backwards to try to help you to get from A to Z. We have programs, we have praxis exams that you can register for. We have a Teach Tangi that will guide you from start to finish. So we have some things. What we would need from our teachers is, hey, meet us. Tell us that you need the help. You know, and unfortunately, there is a teacher shortage. So what we're looking for right now, we would love all certified, but we want effective teachers that are moving our kids from point A to point B, that are getting them to proficiency. That way when they walk, again, I keep emphasizing this, when they walk across that stage, our kids can open any door they want. So we're going to do everything that we have continued to do, and if there's some new tricks out there at a workshop, we'll find them and we're going to bring them to Tangi Parish.
What do you think about the ESL program, and how will you improve it?
I think ESL program is one that years ago was fantastic, but now our numbers are climbing significantly. So that is something that we have to invest some more of our funds into. We've got to find out what is working, what is not working, and if it's not working, find out there has to be a way that somebody else is doing it and find out what they're doing, because that's a population that we need to make sure that we are helping become successful.
And English as a second language for purposes.
For the non-educators.
Exactly. For the non-abbreviators. This one's kind of long as well. For students with autism whose physician has prescribed or recommended ABA or applied behavioral analysis services, what's your plan to ensure families can access those services within the school setting? Specifically, what steps will you take to make the process of obtaining approval and coordination with outside ABA providers clear, consistent, and accessible for families?
First of all, whoever submitted that question, thank you. Okay, thank you, because there is this belief out there that we are preventing ABA therapy from coming into Tangi Parish school system. And I know we're not, because they send all the forms to me. Okay, this is obviously with autism, this is something that is very new to educators. And autism has a very wide spectrum from A to Z of issues that particular student is working with. We love the ABA therapist to come in and assist us. Now, there is paperwork, and there's forms that you have to fill out. There's forms that the parents have to fill out to give us permission for the individual to come in. There are guidelines that those individuals have to follow. And the biggest complaint that some of the ABA therapists give us is that, well, right now I'm only going 2 times 45 minutes a week. And that's our guidelines. But all they have to do is, if the teacher, the principal, and the therapist feel that more time is needed, just get a meeting together, write it up, send it to me, and we'll approve it. So I thank you for getting that question out, and hopefully everybody understands we are not against ABA therapy. We just need some paperwork done, some I's dotted and T's crossed. So thank you for that question.
What are your thoughts on the use of one-to-one Chromebooks for young children?
I think Chromebooks are great. Technology is something we're not going to get rid of, but you cannot replace a teacher. Okay? Our teachers and our paraprofessionals are doing fantastic things in Tangi Parish. Example is the Once program. When they get a great teacher and a para that loves kids and builds relationships, look what we've done with the Once. Our numbers are going through the roof. So I'm very excited. technology has its spot there. We can use technology as something to assist us, whether it is with homework, checking things out on, I'm not a history buff like my counterpart is, but I have to check when was World War I. World War II, that was a great example to use in the computer. But nothing's going to replace a teacher. We are where we are today because of great teachers.
This is interesting. Will there be better quality food for the kids?
Take a smile, Miss Kendra. It's okay. Look, our lunchroom group does a great job. Back in the good old days when I was in school, when you went to lunch, you had, the ladies in the back cook the way your grandmother did. Unfortunately, as we're going now, there are certain guidelines that we have to follow in order to get reimbursement, and it is for a quality meal that has so many carbohydrates, proteins, etc. So our ladies and gentlemen do a great job. The food is fantastic.
And lastly, what does Tangipahoa Parish mean to you?
Ooh, I could do 20 minutes for that. This is my home. This is not a stopover for me. This is where I grew up. See, I'm getting emotional. This is where I grew up. It's where my family grew up. This is where we have roots. So I'm going to put my whole heart and soul to make sure that our kids, not your kids, our kids have the best opportunity to walk across that stage and do whatever they want to do after. We live in the best parish in the state, as our parish president says. And it is our opportunity, not just mine, it's hopefully the next superintendent, not as just the people in here, but everybody in the community. We're going to need your help to get us to the next level. So I'm challenging you today. Be ready. We had our come back to school. We had a gentleman called Ron Clark that talked about give 1% extra. So we're going to ask you tonight to start giving us that 1% extra to make us, and I said this in the other interview, I'm not into all the A's, B's, and C's. All that is great. Okay, all that is great. Why can't we be the best parish in the state, the best parish in the region? That is our goal, because our kids just don't compete against a person across the street. They're competing against kids everywhere. So why not us? That's our goal. That's what Tangi means to me.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. She's going to go get Dr. Cole at the end. Dr. Cole, again, I'm going to go through the same questions that were asked to Mr. Janko. You have up to 20 minutes to answer as much as you can, and you'll let us know when 20 minutes is up if we get that far, okay? The first question, what do you consider to be the biggest challenge facing public school systems today?
So I feel like one of the, there's a few factors, but I feel like one of the challenges of public education is really looking at the value of teamwork approach to educating all students. So whether I came from a school in Arizona and they had public education there with a lot of charter schools there, and it's really created a divide. Although choice is very good for parents, I feel like with education there really needs to be a team approach with parents, communities, staff, students all working together towards the common goal, because we are all here for students and no matter what pathway it is. A lot of times with social media, people will use that as a attack if someone doesn't get their way or if someone is disgruntled about something, and it really distracts from the common goal of educating children. Right now, a lot of youth are really struggling right now. They're lost with pieces of COVID where they didn't have interaction and communication skills, but really coming together and making sure that schools should be the hub of the community. So when you have that support, you have the parent support, you have everyone working towards the common goal for students, it really takes out all the political factors and really focuses on what is best for students and doing the right thing for students. And that should be everyone's focus and not all the distracting other things that happen. So I do feel like that with education is number one priority and keeping students as the primary focus.
What, if any, significant change do you hope to introduce and implement if you're chosen as the next superintendent of the Tangipahoa Parish School System?
So I would say the first thing I would do is look at what's working and keep what's working. So I would not come in with a predetermined list of changes that I would do. There is no cookie cutter model, that does not apply. But what I would do is listen to stakeholders, rotate communities. In other schools, what I've done is do listening stations. Some minor changes, what I would do that has worked effectively in other schools is before board meetings, go to various schools and have it virtual so that anyone can attend from all schools. And then just explaining and getting feedback from stakeholders and anything that is a second order change. So for example, if there's a curriculum decision, making sure that staff have input, and then that staff input would go to the board before they're making decisions. So that way you have all the data. I would probably I've looked at your strategic plan, and then just really aligning it to the board goals and really using data as part of that process. So that's what I would do, and really listening to making sure that it's individualized per school. I feel like my philosophy in any district, and this was a question that was asked before on equity for schools. How I would see that is that the whole district is like one body. And so if you have one body, you've got your hands, you've got feet, you've got different parts, and you do different things and whatever the body needs. And that's how I would see that within the school district as well. But before doing any changes, I would want to get input from stakeholders, looking at kind of a needs assessment, looking at what's working, keep what's working. I would not come in doing a lot of changes. In some schools that I have been, I was directed that, there were multiple lawsuits. So when I went into that particular school, I cleaned up and we fixed a lot of special ed lawsuits and different lawsuits and put in procedures so that it does not continue. What I would look at is really looking at where the needs are and making sure that input is included before any changes and taking time on change. If you want to stay for a long time, you make sure that you have all the data, the buy-in, the support. You put all of that before you're making changes. Thank you.
This is a little long, so bear with me. But what is your vision for supporting teachers who are currently teaching on an uncertified pathway, particularly those who are actively working towards passing the praxis and becoming certified? Will there be resources, mentorship, or additional support available to help these teachers succeed? And will there be consideration for teachers who are making consistent progress towards certification when it comes to job security?
I feel like teachers are critical in a workplace, and teachers need support. So what I do, and I've explained this in the past and it has worked really well, is if you think of like a matrix, I'm just going to go like here. You have people who are effective, say that they're willing to do something, and then you've got a group that's unwilling. People who are able and a group that's unable. The supports that I would do there, I did see that about 55% of teachers are certified. So that is a need for support. So I would put in that category, I would assume that most teachers are willing but unable if they do not have certification. So you would put in a lot of mentoring support, guidance, and just step-by-step support within the school. If the teachers who are able and willing, One thing that we did in Virginia is because you can't do double dipping on supports. So if you do professional development, for example, differentiated, we used our Title II funds to get teachers, so say if they're doing a 2-hour training for the staff, we would give them 2 hours of their prep time paid outside so that they're teaching, because you can't double dip. So if someone's working, you can't pay them while they're working in addition to doing training. But that's how we went around, and we did that through our Title II funds. So really supporting those who are doing well and strong so that they're also mentoring and supporting the other teachers. When I was in Arizona, I was a national board certified teacher, so we actually went all over the state and provided support. I feel like teaching in general, it is all about, modeling, providing, and people learn in different ways, whether it's textbook, whether it's visual, differentiated professional development is critical, and I feel like meeting people where they're at. Teachers, in 2010, there was a big turnaround model, and they would say, oh, document people, and you basically document people out. That is not the time in U.S. right now in education. Now is the time to be supporting, to bring in as many teachers that have the heart for students and really within the community. In Peru, one thing that we did is we partnered with community schools, and then we wrote grants so that our assistants were becoming fully certified at no cost to them. So I feel like that's an investment for the community because students, even if people do not have students within this school, it helps everyone within the community because that's going to be the hub of all the workforce within the community as well.
What do you think about the ESL, or English as a Second Language program, and how would you improve it?
So each state is different with the English language learner program. So what I would do is look at what's working, and then areas that are not working, really get with the experts to develop a plan and what's needed. I think in your district, I think it was 4%, so it's very small. You would work with your Title III funds because that would be the funds that you're working with based on the needs of what teachers need support for the students. I do believe in an inclusion model where students are immersed within a regular ed setting with the supports. Now with technology, there's a lot of things that you can do with a language. They have apps now where, students, it can be translated. I think just really meeting students where they're at so that they are successful is the most critical.
For students with autism whose physician has prescribed or recommended ABA or applied behavioral analysis services, what's your plan to ensure families can access those services within the school setting? Specifically, what steps will you take to make the process of obtaining approval and coordinating with outside ABA providers clear, consistent, and accessible for families?
So I'm with Jefferson County Public Schools right now, and my role is as a district administrator. So I work with multiple schools in the area of special education. And so what we do is we work with the DDS population, so it's an outside source where parents can actually get money for extra resources. So if there's supports needed outside of the school, they can get reimbursed through the state. So that's through state and federal programs that you can get, so they get extra funding. When I was in Peru, what we did is we partnered with surrounding schools so that we created our own system, and it was like a co-op for special ed. And that was with occupational therapists, physical therapists, hearing impaired, all areas of need. I feel like with a behavioral sport, and especially with students with autism, is really meeting students where they're at, and then you create goals. A lot of times it's if you do this, and then you get that. With the behavioral support, there has been controversy. It's been, there's really two folds of that. And support, students being able to follow directions and follow those routines, that's something that's very, very successful so that they're able to be within, the least restrictive environment for a student. On the other hand, we don't want students just blindly, following support without developing those thinking skills as well. So I feel like it is twofold, but that's something that you can partner within the community, and then also bringing in supports into the school. So one of the things, we actually did that with the dental program as well. Instead of having students leave, we brought the dental program into the school. So I would think that with the behavioral supports, and that way they're modeling. A lot of times if you have someone that comes in a half an hour a week, that's good for that half an hour, but our staff also need to see that, so that way they're implementing those same strategies to get the most effectiveness.
What are your thoughts on the use of one-to-one Chromebooks for young children? Yes.
I feel like for younger children, the Chromebook is not really that necessary. I feel like for older children, yes, but I feel like a lot of, if you're doing phonemic awareness, phonics, I would limit it to something that's engaging, but not long-term throughout the day. I feel like just that modeling, using a multisensory approach is the most effective with, a teacher there, and doing your tier groups for tier 1, 2, and 3, so that students are getting that enrichment. Now, of course, if there is technology in there, that is important for engagement, but I feel like for the one-on-one device, definitely for the older students, but preschool, younger students, I feel like more that hands-on. There's a lot of studies that say the research within the vision changes if you're just looking at a screen for a really long period of time. So I feel like it does need to be limited, and just using it for a specific purpose, and making sure that it meets that goal that you're working on, and not just having a device.
And this isn't intended to be shade at anyone, but will there be better quality food for the kids?
So I hear that, and USDA is all over the country. So you're using, there are certain criteria that you do have to follow. What we did in Peru, and that was one of the concerns that, they're saying, well, we have to follow this. And so one of the things that we did is we had 5th grade through 12th grade do a survey. And they listed all the foods, and they said the foods that they liked, the foods that they did not. So one of the things, for example, instead of a French fry, it was like a sweet potato fry. And we noticed that the students did not like that particular thing. So we actually had students involved in creating menus that met that criteria. So you have to have like certain food colors. I mean, there's a whole criteria you would not even believe unless you're in food service. But to meet that criteria, there has to be certain portions, there has to be certain, colors that you have, it has to meet those nutritional values. But I think with that, getting input involved, anything, that's an example of a change, whoever's directly involved. So students are eating it. So getting students involved, doing some surveys, having them create, here's the criteria that would be with math, that includes, creative problem solving, and, having them part of that process. I think that would be something that is helpful, and it's a win-win for everyone.
Last question. What does Tangipahoa Parish mean to you?
So I am not from here, but I will tell you that coming in, it is very, very beautiful. I am looking for a place, so I just want to share, I grew up, my father was in the military, so we moved, every 4 years, basically different places. And when I went to school in Indiana, there was a program you could do your student teaching on the Navajo Indian Reservation in Arizona. So I was like, oh, I'll do that for 1 semester. And I went out there and my heart tugged at the poverty there. So I ended up staying out there for 20 years. In that time, I really dedicated my whole self there. I probably would have still been there, but you can't own a house there. Everything's on federal land. So you can't own a house, you can't retire there. And I was like, gosh, this is not for me. So I feel like I really put a lot of service in there. I'm very service oriented. And then I took a year off after COVID, and I went to Phoenix and I worked on my dissertation. I was comparing high school graduation rates, and I was looking at all the South. I actually looked at Louisiana at that time and comparing different states. And I saw that East Coast had really high graduation rates. I'm like, what are they doing over there? And I was really curious. So even though it is a negative thing that I have moved around the last few years, I feel like in a way it's an asset, because I have learned the system nationwide of what's working, what's not working, what are different states doing in policy, and how to really get at the heart of students. If you look at the curriculum pieces, most of the curriculum is the same. In Indiana, you have 2 choices that are state approved. That's for reading. For math, you have 5 choices. And we're seeing that all states, they're struggling in certain areas. So it's not just, that piece, but it really takes everyone working together to make it work, because there is no one size fits all solution. And it is about that community. One thing here, what really impresses me, I looked at your growth, that was number one. I looked at the diversity within your community, and that's something that, I was really interested in because I feel like there's a moral purpose there. I looked at the socioeconomic, different needs, and then your location. I really feel like in a small town, people will ask you, who's your family? What, they ask you questions like that, not just what do you do for a living, where do you live, and sizing you up. But being somewhere that's an hour from a town is something that's really important, but living in a community that is close-knit, and I feel like that it can be the hub for students. Coming here, you really feel the embrace of the trees. It is beautiful, and I can really see myself here long-term. I am looking for a place where I can purchase a home, stay, and really be of support, and I feel like my strengths and what I have learned from various school districts, from 1,000 students to 95,000 students. Where I'm at currently, there's 160 schools in those systems. When I was a regular ed teacher, I remember I would go to different classes to see how, what's working in different places, and you take from that, and that helps you become the best teacher that you can. And I feel like I've done that as a superintendent. So that's what I'm looking for. I really appreciate the opportunity. I've done a lot of research on your school, on strengths and needs, and I feel like I could really help your school. And I would be a service, very positive, and do it with an asset-based model and not a deficit model. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to bring back Mr. Janko, and then we're going to do the public comments.
Public comment section, which is item 5 on our agenda. And I have to wait for Amanda to tell me if we have any public comment and how much we have. So she'll be back here shortly. Thank you.
Do we have any other cards besides? Oh, we only have one speaker who has filled out a card to do public comment. That's Mona Ikamena. And please come up to the microphone.
Do I get 20 minutes?
Three.
I only get 3 before you hit the clock. I do have one thing, a point of order that I can make because I'm old. I want to thank Melissa for her tenure as superintendent. And special thanks to 2 board members that I've had the opportunity to go head-to-head with as the union rep. Brett and Rose, thank you all so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I hate turning my back. For those of you all who don't know me, I moved to Ponchatoula 10 years ago. New Orleans native. I've worked for 54 years in public education. Come across a lot of superintendents and everything. And Dr. Cole, thank you for coming from Texas, am I correct? Indiana, the Hoosier State. Thank you. Best strawberries in the land right here. So I'm here actually to talk about a friend of mine, and his name is Ron Jinko. And I would talk about you, but I don't know you. So I met Ron when Ron had hair, okay? Long time ago, and I had darker hair. But I met Ron when he was a teacher at Independence, then he became AP, then the principal, then chief academic officer, then HR coordinator, and then assistant superintendent. So we've been through quite the gamut. And I can't begin to tell you how I feel about him. And I consider him a very good friend. I would take a bullet for him because I'm older and I'm not going to be here too much longer. But I will tell two stories on you. Okay. Everybody sees Ron and they think that he's this real lovable fella, never gets upset, never gets angry. In my dealings with him as HR director, 2 incidents where he really got PO'd. One was I was representing a member, and she said some disparaging things about Independence High School. And he came up out of his chair, scared the hell out of me, okay? Because I'd never seen him like this. And the second time was when his son broke his ankle chasing down a bag of Doritos. That was the only 2 times I've seen him really, really angry. But I will tell you that there is glue that holds everything together. And he learned from the glue master, our good friend Thomas Bellavia, who's no longer with us. But I would be remiss if I didn't say that Ron could do this job. Not saying that you couldn't either, but Ron knows people. He probably knows everybody. He's going to be like Mr. Bellavia, knows everybody, the grandparents, the great-grandparents, the children, and whatever. But he has that certain touch that conveys to the employees that he is amenable, and above all, he's fair. And
I'm sorry, Ms.
Ms. Tony, I'm going to do what I do in Jefferson Parish. Thank you all. Good night. Vote Ron.
And at this time, I'm turning back over to Mr. Anthony for board action.
That's no further public comment. Before I move on to the next topic, is there anyone else that wishes to speak that has not filled out a form? Just want to make sure nobody came in late that intends to provide some public comment. So, okay, it appears no. So we will move to item 6, which is board actions.
Before you do that,
Yes, sir.
Mr. President, I just, we've only been here for 48 minutes tonight, and I don't want the public to leave with the impression that we are rushing to some sort of conclusion. I just want to remind everyone that it was very important to this board from the very beginning that we have a transparent, thorough, and public process. So this has been a 45 to 60-day process. We are not just, it did not involve just what you're seeing happen tonight. Tonight is, of course, a very important part of the process. It's an important step. But we began with a commitment to doing a national search, and we brought in a firm to help us do that because we wanted to make sure that we brought in all the best candidates that we possibly could. We advertised nationally. We did what we could to recruit as many candidates as we could, and we got some very, very high-quality candidates and applicants. We then went through the process of reviewing each of those applicants, screening them with the assistance of our search firm, and then ultimately narrowed down that group of applicants to the 2 wonderful finalists that you are meeting tonight. After that, we brought those candidates in via a video format and did our own interview with them, which was another hour-long or hour-and-a-half-long meeting. We published those videos so that the public would have the opportunity to view them for a week before we arrived here tonight.
In addition to that, and then what you experienced tonight, I can promise you that every board member up here has probably had no less than 15 conversations with constituents over the course of the last week or so, probably more via email, personal conversations, phone calls. We have really valued and appreciate all of the public participation that we've received. And so I just wanted anyone watching this process or participating to know that this board took this very seriously. We are glad and honored that we have two excellent candidates to choose from tonight. We hope that the public has seen that and that they appreciate and they are confident that at the conclusion of this process that we are bringing you the very best person that we can to take this important responsibility.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. All right, I also want to add, before we go to board actions and a discussion, Ms. Mona, when she spoke, she recognized Ms. Stilley, of course, and Mr. Duncan and Ms. Dominguez, but we also have another board member leaving, and that's Ms. Abrams. So while we have this amount of people here,
Are we clapping that she's leaving?
Who's gonna
He
keep
said
you
it, not
track
me.
of line?
she's got big.
He said that figuratively.
Not literally, because she's of small stature.
Yeah, but Jimmy's here.
But yeah, so we'll go ahead and move on to item 6, which is board actions. This is a Speak Now, Forever Hold Your Peace event. Okay, so, all right, moving to item 6, board actions. Thank you, Mr. Duncan, for reminding everybody this has been a long process. And again, we did get 2 very, very good quality applicants. We're going to go to item 8, however, discussion and/or action concerning the selection of the superintendent and related details. Does anybody have any motions or anything they would like to make at this time?
Mr. President, I move that the Tangipahoa Parish School Board at this time selects Mr. Ronald Jenko as the next superintendent of schools for Tangipahoa Parish School System. Authorize the board president, with the assistance of board counsel and with individual board members, as board president deems appropriate, to negotiate a proposed employment contract and direct the proposed contract to present to the board for consideration and the final approval in the next 30 days.
And Mr. President, I would like to second that motion.
Ms. Amanda, did you get the majority of that? All right, so we have a motion on the floor in support of Mr. Jenko as superintendent by Ms. Abrams and a second by Mr. Piazza. Do we have any comment, questions, concerns as board members they'd like to address at this time?
I do. Guys, kind of echoing what Mr. Duncan said, this was a long process. Coming on this board, you make a lot of decisions that affect students every single day, from facilities to policy to hiring and firing of superintendents. And this is definitely the most important decision that we as a board have to make. We've had a fantastic leader that has come into the system and has changed a lot of things for the good, and we need a member to come in and make that change to move forward. We have 2 wonderful candidates that came here tonight. I was very impressed with Ms. Cole in our interview that we had. And Mr. Jenko has impressed me not only with his interviews, but with his continual service that he has given to this parish, from not only his family, but his own personal things that he has done. I want to share a quick thing about Mr. Jenko. I went into his office one day, this was well before this thing, and I know for a fact he'd been in DRC meetings all day, because I was with him pretty much the whole day. It was probably about 5:30, somewhere up in there, everybody's done long gone, and he's answering emails that I know he had over 200, and I know he didn't go home until every single email was done. That showed me the type of man that Mr. Jenko is. That played heavily into my decision tonight. But Ms. Cole, you were an amazing candidate. I think what you bring to the table in your long experience was very much needed to hear tonight. I loved your answer about the one-on-one computer with students. As a former educator, that's a big deal going on, and I want to invite you to stay in Tangi in some capacity if possible. But it is really the best parish to be in. We have some amazing staff, some amazing leaders, And I hope under your leadership, sir, we will cultivate even more. Thank you for your sacrifice that you've given. Thank you for being willing to serve for both of you. And I know that I will be here on this board next. I look forward to working with you if the rest of the board agrees to this. For the new members that are coming, please note that this was not an easy decision, and you will have to work with one of these candidates. But know that this current board did everything we could to be transparent and to make the best decision moving forward for this parish and for this system and every student that it serves.
Thank you, Mr. Piazza. Mr. Toller?
And I will be quick. I've had the pleasure of serving here for 10 years. I've had the pleasure of serving with 2 superintendents. Both, I feel like, left the system better than they found it. And Melissa, that's a compliment to you. I appreciate your service here. The community does. We hope you enjoy your retirement. Moving forward into this, Dr. Cole, I want to say thank you for coming. Thank you for participating in this process. I know it's been long. I appreciate the phone call yesterday. We talked. I feel like I got a little more information out of you than we got from the first interview. But I will say this. In the 10 years that I've been here, typically when we get phone calls, it's because people have exhausted all regular means of solving a problem. By the time they get to us, all the regular things have been done. And a lot of these problems are in the gray area that's in between 2 policies, and it's just a mess. And always, every one of those situations, I look back to my phone just a few minutes ago, I have got so many texts and calls to Ron Jinko. And he has always, under Mr. Colway and under Ms. Tilley, he has always taken those calls when it's been a mess, and he has always seemed to find some type of solution. Whether I agreed with him or not, and most of the time we did, he always found a solution. But one thing he's always told me when we finished the call was, and he never will call me Tom, he calls me Mr. Toller for some reason, but he always says, give him my number and tell him to call me. Now, there's a lot to being a superintendent, a lot more than I know, not more than I can even begin to imagine. But if you start with the foundation that you're willing to talk to somebody on the phone, you've got a great start. Melissa did that too, but Ron for 10 years has always been the person to make things happen for me whenever parents needed somebody. And Mr. Ron, I appreciate that, I really do. And I look forward, however the vote goes with either one of you, thank you for being willing to put your face and name out there for this type of a position. It is a hard job. We all appreciate that, we know that. But Godspeed to both of you.
Mr. President.
Anybody else wish to speak?
Me?
Mr. Dominguez. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Can I come back
So
to you, Mr.
I was honored to make this motion, and I'm going to give a little background on me and Mr. Jinko. We started kindergarten together. We went all the way through 8th grade together. We graduated from high school together, and his dad taught both of us. And I'd just like to say, right now, your mom and dad are probably so proud of you in the seat that you're in. I am honored to say that you are a classmate, and I'm honored to have worked with you for the last 8 years. You will, if voted tonight, make an amazing superintendent, and I know the school system will be just in great hands as it was with Ms. Tilley.
Mr. Dominguez.
Why you want to make us cry, Robin? As I was recognized shortly ago, this is my 20th year, and I'm going to cry too. I'm sad to leave. I'm sad that, you know, if Mr. Jinko's elected as our superintendent, I won't get to work with him in that capacity very long, you know, but I have had the pleasure of working with him for 20 years. And also his dad was on the school board with me when I started, and I will never forget some of his crazy sayings and how much we learned from him. And I know, as Robin said, he's going to be really proud of Ron and also his mom. But some of the things that both people said, I'm not going to say again, but that is the truth. And he has said those things before. Please tell him to call me. And I have always reached out to Ron for help, and he's always been there. And we thank you, Dr. Cole, for coming. We appreciate all the years of service that you've given to education, because it takes a village across the United States. And having worked on a national board for School Board Association, I learned a great deal, and I understand where you're coming from. Every state is different, and we learn from each other by networking. And I really do appreciate your willingness to come and want to be a part of Tangipahoa Parish. And of course, Mr. Jinko and your family for the willingness that you've had all these years. And Godspeed to both of y'all, as Tom said. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Richards?
I want to start out by saying to Ms. Steele, thank you for your service. You started strong, and you finished strong.
There you go.
Mr. Jinko, I have to echo Tom, because I'll pick up the phone and call Mr. Jinko, and he's always in this bright spirit, and I'm ready to just chaw at the bits, but he calms me down first, and then he says, give them my number. And once I give it to him, then I'm confident that he's gonna contact them and he's not gonna run from the conversation. I like it, Mr. Jinko, because you didn't use the word change, because that's one of the things that we are so concerned about. Where do we go from here? Are we going to continue to grow? And because we know that with the numbers that we have and the statistics, that Tangipahoa Parish school system stands with all of the rest of the districts. And you said, no, I'm going to refine and do it Ron Jinko's way. And I look forward to working with you.
I do want to mention, Janice brought up a good point. We've had two seemingly goodbyes to Miss Steele. Miss Steele is with us until January, people, okay? She's not riding off into the sunset yet, so, no, not tomorrow. Yeah, so I did want to point that out too. And whoever wins this vote this evening will be fortunate enough to be able to work under Miss Steele and learn from what I believe to be excellence in leadership and excellence in education. And we're very, very fortunate to have started the process and made it in such a way where whatever candidate wins gets to train under Miss Steele. So look, I just can't say enough about both candidates. I mean, I took some notes as they were speaking, and I wish we could hire both of you. You know, I really do. And I'm just very impressed. And I'd want to echo what the other board members say. When you have a problem and you call Mr. Jinko, I'll try to get the problem like half resolved before I get to him. He's like, just give him my number, like they said. And the problem solved. And it's just amazing that, that somebody with such an important role still has that personal touch and can reach out and talk to the constituents and take calls to what he may believe might be unimportant, but it's important to that individual, you know? And so treat people honestly and fairly, and that goes a really long way. So I appreciate that service that you've provided. All right, does anybody else wish to make a comment or question? Anybody from the board or the public? All right, hearing no questions or comments, we can go ahead and call for a vote. Ms. Raghunath.
Mr. Anthony?
Yes.
Mr. Westmoreland?
Yes.
Ms. Abrams?
100% yes.
Ms. Dominguez?
Yes.
Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Piazza?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes, if Mrs. Jinko can handle it.
Let's get the final one. Mr. Toller?
Absolutely.
Congratulations, Mr. Jenkins.
All right, thank you all very much. Dr. Cole, can I ask you if you wouldn't mind hanging around for a little bit? Would that be okay? Thank you. Mr. Jinko, is there anything that you want to say before we adjourn that wasn't part of the agenda, but you're welcome to have a moment? Please do. Yes, sir.
Three minutes.
More minutes than 3 if you need.
We'll start with a little Play-Doh on top, okay? What do you think about with Play-Doh? You know, you think about your childhood. Okay, so before we get started, thank you. And I'd like to give God all the glory. I have this song that I listen to 10, 15 times a day. And it talks about, I'm the living, breathing, walking testimony. I'm the living proof of what the Lord has done. So how else could a boy from the Red Hill become the next school system superintendent? Okay? I asked the Lord to watch over our entire parish, protect all of us. I asked for the wisdom of Solomon in the decisions ahead, reminding me that our students have to be first, and the courage of David to take on the challenge that interferes with that. To my family, you're my why. Why you get up and do this. You are the why. Okay? The driving force that gets me up and keeps me moving. Lisa, not sure where to begin. I'm standing up here because of you. Okay? Now, a quick question. I see Catherine. Okay? And it's hard to believe that, all of you that know Lisa, she can talk. Catherine can talk just as much as her. We're in our first education class. The professor calls all three of us. I'm trying to take notes, being a studious person. At the end of class, the professor calls all three of us up and says, you're talking too much. And I'm thinking, now, he's been my girlfriend for a couple of years. I got to go sit somewhere else so I get thrown out of education. Okay? You were there through the good days, the bad days, and the shoulder to cry on. So thank you. Jason Kiley, thank you. We had a third musketeer join us, Kendall, the other KG as we call her. And we're trying to get Dylan into the group. So if you've been to the principals meeting, you know about Dylan. We'll just keep that between us. To Mary, Chuck, Gabby, and Michael, thank you for your support. Carla, Charlie, Larry, Kathy, Cheryl, and Buddy, thank you for your support. To my mom and dad, who unfortunately could not be here, thank you for the many lessons that you taught me to get me up here. Now I got to turn this way to the board. To the board, thank you for your confidence in allowing me to lead Tangipahoa Parish School System moving forward. It's an incredible responsibility, one that I do not take lightly, and one that I want to make you extremely proud to be a member of the Tangipahoa Parish School System. Okay? Some general comments, Ms. Stilley, I'm coming to you. We're going to get a few general comments first. To our stakeholders, that's everyone. Stakeholders, we need your help. Okay? We need your help if we are going to be the district that I know we can be. We're going to ask for your help. We're going to ask you to come and support us, support our teachers, support our schools. There is no reason we cannot be the best district, and we're going to be the best district, but we're going to need your help. You do not become a superintendent of a school system by yourself. Okay? There are numerous people that you encountered from day one throughout to standing here today. My first year at Independence High School as a freshman, the school secretary took care of me. She took care of me as the first year as a teacher. She took care of me as the first year as an administrator. Had a biology teacher that I owe everything to. Okay? When I came back as a teacher, I wanted to make her proud. You go through these things, you talk to board members, you talk to mentors, you talk to everybody. Okay? And those lessons that you learn, you take with you that helped me get here today. Their dates, a specific date, June 20th, 2018. June 20th, 2018 is a day that changed me and allowed me to stand here. So I will be forever grateful. The names, dates, lessons, I could stand up here more than the 3 minutes and the 20 minutes. Okay? All of you had a part in me standing here, so I cannot thank you enough. Let's keep our students the main focus, keep the system moving forward. Thank you, and God bless you.
right, I want to thank everybody. I know on behalf of the board, I'd like to thank everybody for being here tonight. The show of the people that came and sat in this room tonight to witness this, it shows that we have a lot of support for our school system. Like Mr. Jinko said, we got to be our own cheerleaders here. And if you care enough to be here tonight, I ask you to go share the good news about what it is that we've been able to accomplish in the last several years. And I can tell you, go back to YouTube, our school board meeting from December, and we discuss it. We have a 10-minute or so video that goes over some of the things we've accomplished in the last 4 years. And it's incredible. And we got to thank Ms. Stilley and her A-team. Ms. Stilley has compiled an A-team that includes Mr. Jinko, Mr. McNeely, Dr. Fusel, Mr. Porter. And that team hopefully can stay gelled and continue to work together so that we can get 4 years later, we have another 30 or 40 really, really great success stories that we can share with the public. So thank you all very much. Go cheerlead for us. And if there's no other, if there is, Mr. Piazza.
I just want to make a comment, and I think it's very important to say this because of what happened here tonight and the amount of support we had and your story and we love to say college and career ready. I think we need to add one more. College, career, and community ready, because the community has to be in the support.
All right. With no.
Take a picture. Can
What's
we
that?
get a picture with Ms. Stilley and Mr. Jinko with all of us before he runs off to take a picture?
Y'all don't
with
go
his wife?
anywhere, please. All right. No other question, comment, or concern. We can call this meeting adjourned. Thank you all very much.